Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So tonight I'm going to be doing a kind of a 6-month on review of the Epiphone Inspired by Gibson Les Paul Standard. This has got the iced tea finish. I've already done sort of a full in-depth review of this guitar. Check the link here. And I've also done a comparison between this and my other guitar, the Fender Player Stratocaster. Again, click that link. So yeah, I've owned this guitar since May 2024. I've always loved Les Pauls. I've owned many Les Pauls over the years, you know, Gibsons, Epiphones. I just thought that I needed to have one of these back in my collection, you know, just so I can just turn to it to get humbucker tones. I recently did sort of the last song that I did. I initially recorded the electric guitars using the Strat, but yeah, this guitar just came into it, was able to do, you know, overdriven rhythm tones better than the Strat. It was able to do nice thick lead tones better than the Strat. So yeah, this has kind of became a sort of like a utility guitar, I suppose. You know, my number one guitar is the Strat, but I still love Les Paul, and it's great to have, you know, one of these in your collection as well, just so that you've got all of the bases covered, I think. But anyway, yeah, let's just, you know, 6 months on, I just wanted to go through with you, you know, any issues at all that I've sort of crept up with this guitar over the last 6 months. You know, in the first video that I did for this guitar, you know, I think it's a great guitar. I give it a really good review. There's no issues with it really. But I just wanted to just point a few things out first. So anyway, here we go. So the first thing, and these are very minor things, it's the control knobs. So these have got the sort of the top hat with this sort of I don't know what they're called, but the kind of position indicator attachments on them. Drop us a comment, I forgot what these are called. I much prefer the speed knobs, if I'm being honest. Plus these sit sort of very high off the body as well, which feels a bit strange. You know, you can easily get your fingers underneath them, which I don't like. So yeah, they definitely look the part. And I guess speed knobs wouldn't look right on this guitar, but it's just a thing, you know, that a little niggle. Anything else? Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the colour of the back in the neck, you know, the cherry red colour. I think it's a bit garish. I mean, I guess this is what Gibsons look like as well. This is the sort of authentic colour. I'm not sure if that's the authentic colour scheme, but I don't know. I love the top on this, you know, even though this is actually not a proper, you know, figured maple top. This is the veneer. I'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, I'm not sure about the, you know, the back and the sides, you know, plus the veneer on the back, you know, it's quite stripy. Don't know if you can see that too well, but yeah, it's not the best. I mean, yeah, I mentioned this in the initial review. I think the biggest downside of this guitar is that, you know, it's not really a Les Paul, let's be honest. I know I'm contradicting myself a little bit because I have said this is a Les Paul in previous videos, but when you get down to it, you know, this has got a 3-piece neck, the Gibson's 1-piece. This has got a different neck angle, right? This has got, the body is kind of, it's got the veneer maple top, the maple cap, yeah? Then it's got the mahogany body, and then it's got a sort of a cap on the back as well, sort of, I don't know if it's to cover up the number of bits of wood that is used on the body or what, but yeah, that's a cap as well. Now on a Gibson, it's literally just mahogany body, solid mahogany body, something I think it's 2 or 3 piece or whatever, and just a maple cap, which may or may not have the figuring on the flame on it. So this is constructed differently to a Les Paul. Like I say, the neck angle is, I think it's 14 inches on this, as opposed to 17 inches, 14 degrees as opposed to 17 degrees in the Gibson, so that's different as well. I mean, obviously the pickups are different on a USA Gibson as well. But yeah, I mean, in contrast, you know, my Fender Strat I think is actually quite close to a USA Strat. You know, the guts of the guitar, its construction, you know, it's got the one piece neck, it's pretty much the same. It makes me not want a USA Fender, but this guitar is not stopping me from wanting a Gibson. That's the difference. But you know, you have to hand it. You know, this is a Chinese made guitar. You've got to hand it to them. You know, the effort that's been put into this guitar. This is where Epiphone this is where the money is in this guitar. You know, the setup, perfect. Absolutely no issues on this guitar. The frets have got the action way down low. The nut is cut perfect. You know, it's got the Graphtec nut pre-installed, the electrics, CTS pots, switchcraft switch. Yeah, you know, out of the box, this is a million times better than any player Strat. You know, it's just daft. So yeah, that's what you've got with Epiphone. The approach is completely different to Fender. Fender are saying, we're going to give you the basics right, and then we're just going to let you worry about the quality control. We're not going to do anything with that. We're going to give you a rubbish nut. We're going to give you uneven frets. You sort it out, or you return the guitar, or whatever. Completely different to Epiphone's philosophy, which is, do you know what it is? We're not going to give you the premium woods, the construction. I don't even know if that's possible. I mean, do you know of a guitar manufacturer that does, you know, one piece mahogany set neck guitars for £500? I'm not sure. Drop us a comment. But yeah, so there is a kind of, this guitar didn't come with any issues, and there's a lot to love with this guitar, but this guitar kind of, it is what it is. It's an Epiphone. It's not a Gibson. I guess the other thing is the headstock. I mean, this is a vast improvement on the old Epiphone headstocks, but I don't think it's quite there still. I still look at it and I'm just thinking it's not as nice as a Gibson headstock. And then again, there you go again with the Fender Player Series. You know, they're kind of affordable route into up to a USA model, and that just looks like a Fender Strat. So yeah, just a different philosophy, I think, by Epiphone. What else will I say about this guitar? Yeah, in the original video, you know, I did say that this felt a little bit expensive, and I think that's even more the case now. You know, PRS have just brought out the is it the CE24? Is it the Fate? I can't remember what it's called, but they've got a 399 guitar out now. You know, which is, I don't get, it's not a Les Paul obviously, but you know, it's twin humbucker guitar that's built in Indonesia, and you know, the price is going down. It seems to me that Epiphone's prices are still on the up. You know, not so long ago, I've said it before, I got my Epiphone, I think it was ES335 Pro, $299. Wow, $299. And even the guitars, other guitars in this range, like the studio version is $379, which is, you know, £120 more than this. So I still think this is expensive for what it is, but that's not taking anything away from the effort that's been put into this guitar. You know, it out of the box. Other things I want to mention. So this guitar originally came with 10s, strung with 10s. it felt markedly stiffer than the Strat, right? So it's been replaced with 9s, and if I'm being honest with you, it's kind of now on a par with the Strat. So like on bends, it's almost as slinky as the Strat, almost, but not quite. That's something I wasn't expecting. You know, I always expect a Les Paul to play better than a Strat, or at least to have lower string tension than a Strat for the same string gauge. You know, and that's because it's got the shorter scale length, 24 3/4 versus 25.5. But I think what it is with the Strat is, you know, you've got that floating bridge so that when you're bending strings, the bridge raises, so the tension goes down. I think that's my theory. But maybe I'm just dreaming it, but I'm pretty sure that my old Gibson felt a bit slinkier than this. I think it felt about the same as a Strat with 9s on when I had the Gibson with 10s on it, put it that way. And if I'm being brutally honest, it doesn't feel like a Gibson as much as I thought it did 6 months ago. The frets feel a bit tall. It's more apparent when you're sort of doing slides. You know, it's got the Indian Laurel fingerboard, which I don't think is even as nice as the Power Ferro board on my Strat. Yeah, I think overall it just feels a bit generic, right? It just feels a bit generic because it is generic. You know, it's mass produced in China, right? And they sell thousands of these, right? It does feel a lot less special than a Les Paul. Maybe it's just in my brain, in my mind, but you know, the nitrocellulose, the solid wood, the Gibson on the headstock, just the feel of the neck, it's closer than it ever has been before, right? But those differences, I think, are still apparent, and they've become even more apparent 6 months on when I got this guitar, right? You know, and maybe it's just something as small as, you know, Epiphone just do the neck binding different. You know, Gibson, they put the binding over the frets, whereas Epiphone, the frets go over the binding, which is actually better, you know. There's a few things that are better about this guitar over the Gibson. As I said before, it's got the lock tone bridge and tailpiece so they don't fall off. It's got the parts where you can switch the pickups out because it's got the plugs on, you don't have to use a soldering iron. Stuff like that, you know, the Graphtec nut. So yeah, but yes, it just, to me the Strat feels like it's almost USA Pro 2 Strat. This still feels like not a quarter of a Gibson, because that's what this is price wise, a quarter of a Gibson. It's 75% of the way there, I think, right? But yeah, I mean, drop us a comment, you know, if there's any guitars out there which do have a, you know, mahogany Les Paul configuration that are about this price point, let us know. I think most of them do use 3-piece necks. Anything else? No, I don't think so. I think I was pretty much I kind of agree with myself about that video I did 6 months ago, the initial review. You know, the things about the pots, that's very, very minor. These can be swapped out. This kind of reminds us in a lot of ways to my acoustic guitar. I've got a Yamaha FG850, and that's the same, and that's quite expensive for what it is. I think that was £385, and you know, that had a NATO neck 3-piece, only had a solid top, had a laminated back and sides. You know, it's very, you know, construction wise isn't the best parts, but then again, when you pick it up, when you play it, it kind of delivers. It's never given us any issues, just like this guitar. And you know, when I got to actually using it in a practical scenario like recording, it came up with the goods, and all those things about, oh, it's not a Gibson, it's got a three-piece neck and the headstock, all those things don't matter anymore. So that tells you something, doesn't it? But then again, a lot of players put a lot of sort of priority onto that sort of thing as well. So anyway, I'm not getting rid of this guitar. Would have liked to have gone for the 50s version of this, which has the bigger neck and the sort of the Clouson style tuners as opposed to the Grovers. I prefer the Grovers. And the lower output pickup, so that's got the Pro Booker 1 and 2 as opposed to the Pro Booker 2 and 3, which these are higher up. But do you know what? I think that might have been fun, having a lower output, more vintage style Les Paul. I went for this because it had the nicer top, the iced tea. But I think if I had got the gold top 50s, I would have been happy too, and plus I would have had more fun with lower output humbucker tones. But I'm starting to waffle. Anyway, so thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing. These are great guitars for what they are. They're a little bit expensive. I think they're better than the competition, but still think for what it is expensive given the components. I'm waffling. I'll catch you on the next one. Trot.